Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. Two casts ago, it was a TvT with SuperNova versus a Chinese professional Terran. And then we did SuperNova versus a Korean Zerg. And this time, we've got SuperNova versus a Chinese Protoss. The map is on Acid Plan. I figured I did the first two, may as well make it a trifecta of all the Terran matchups. So spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, playing for Team Root, it is SuperNova. And his opponent spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Cyan, the Chinese Protoss player. One of the top Chinese players. I mean, he's arguably 1, 2, maybe 3, but he's a very good Protoss player. Training in Korea at times. He's on Top Sports Gaming. It is one of the Chinese teams, so it's a little less known, but he is on a professional team. He's a professional player, and he's going to be going up against SuperNova here. Now, SuperNova usually leads to some interesting matches, so it's always fun to cast his games. And I thought, yeah, you know, we did a TvT, a TvZ, and now it's time for a TvP. So we're going to see how this one's going to turn out. Cyan's starting things off, being a bit of a nuisance, harassing with that probe. Going to be working away on that SCV. That little taser zapping on. Now Cyan back at his side of the base, going for that gateway into Nexus. SuperNova looking to go for that Reaper expand. Nothing out of the ordinary this game. SuperNova's SCVs are a little bit scared of that probe. I mean, he's gonna have to send out a fresh one. So Cyan being a bit of a nuisance there. Maybe able to delay this CC just a minute. Anyway, the Reaper will pop out in just a second. I mean, if Cyan hangs around too long, he will lose that probe. Alrighty, so let's see. SuperNova's got that Reaper on the way, got the factory. Cyan's starting things off, just trying to be that nuisance. That's what some Protoss players like to do. SuperNova, interestingly enough, is moving out with an SCV, so maybe going to be looking for this probe, maybe just wanting to get all this scouting information off. Where's this SCV going? Anyway, he's off on an adventure. The Reaper for SuperNova is staying back at home because he knows Cyan has a probe out on the map. And this SCV's scouting. This probe's hiding just down here. It looks like it could be going for some tech, but the Stargate's already thrown down in the main, so that's not going to be the case. So Cyan just playing it normal, keeping this probe out. He may eventually poke in. Look at this. This SCV just barely north of this probe. Oh my gosh, SuperNova going for a proxy starport on his own, but this could be a pretty bad start for the Korean Terran player en route. Adept's coming in. It's got one of those cool Executor Adepts. That's a pretty cool Adept skin. I haven't seen this one yet. So we're still exploring all these new skins now. This Reaper's going to come on, or this Adept's going to come on in. It won't be able to delay the CC. SuperNova pops that SCV into the CC, sends them somewhere safer. Now, double Hellions are popping out. So this actually, I mean, you don't think of it, but Hellions are actually pretty good versus Adepts. So this Adept may go down. It actually just gets out. Now, Cyan comes in. He does scout the starport, though, and SuperNova knows that he scouted the starport. Now, this Adept is moving across the map. So far, though, SuperNova, he's just making these Hellions. Phoenix is on the way for Cyan right now, so he scouted the starport. He's either going to know that it's going to be a Liberator or it's going to be a Medivac that's going to be dropping Hellions. So Cyan knows what's coming his way. SuperNova's been going for this aggressive build with the proxy starport, but these Hellions, they're not going to get too much done, I don't think, as Cyan is prepared for this. He's going to have a Phoenix out, or actually two Phoenix out by the time this comes in. They can always lift the Hellions. The Oracle will be there. Cyan's walling off. Reaper's coming on in. It sees those Adepts. Now SuperNova's going for the drop, but it's scouted. I mean, I feel he's not going to commit, but he's going to lose the Medivac as a result. Now Hellion's being chased by the Oracle. So good defense from Cyan, scouting this out. A little unlucky for SuperNova that Cyan was completely aware that this is coming. So now we're going to have to see SuperNova try and fight his way back from this, because he definitely is at a deficit this game. He's got the Hellions and Reaper still out. Maybe he can find a way, and there's a Liberator popping, but SuperNova cancels that, knowing that there's the Hellions, or the Phoenix, pardon me. Hellions for SuperNova are moving in. Gonna be scouting out that third base. Can't get into the natural. starport being worked on by these Phoenix, and even a stasis ward going up. Where's that stasis ward? Stasis wards don't show up as structures. Where's that? Oh, I guess it was at the mineral line. Yeah, look at this, Cyan. You don't see that too often versus Terran. It's more of a versus Zerg thing with the Oracles. This starport may survive. SuperNova's actually going to land it. It's not burning just yet, so it will survive. 2 Cyclones coming in. We'll be able to get the lock off. Working away on some of these. SuperNova does need to be careful. He's going to retreat into this Widow Mine. Another Cyclone comes out, and it looks like that SuperNova may be playing this Mech style. He's going to lock onto another one of the Phoenix. One of them's pretty weak. The others take a bit of damage, but SuperNova does save the starport. If we look at the production right now, SuperNova's going into a 3rd CC. He's throwing up more factories, so this is why when I see a SuperNova versus Protoss game, it's always going to be interesting just because of the mech factor. We're going to see how he's going to do versus Cyan. I mean, Protoss players, they have a general idea on how you deal with mech. You either go for a charge lot timing with Blink Stalkers or something like that, or you go for sort of the late game Tempest carriers, things like that. Cyan's Phoenix having a bit of fun there. Now the 3rd base is on the way for Cyan. He deflected that early attack, so he's looking better in this game. Hellion and a Reaper's moving out for SuperNova. Just a Hellion and a Reaper, interestingly enough. Mines are moving out for SuperNova, though. I mean, this is I think there's a word for it. It's almost as if it's a literal minefield. Now, SuperNova tried to get a bit of damage done there. The 3rd base isn't too saturated for Cyan just yet, so it's not like he's been chrono boosting out probes non-stop. He has been investing in a fair few units, and then eventually he may go for an attack. Interestingly enough, he's still making Phoenix. He's at 7, going to 8. He's now just getting up a Robo. And Immortals are a big part of dealing with Mech, but we'll see what he's able to get done. He has charge. He's going to be getting +1 armor, but SuperNova also has Cyclones, also has Mines, and Mines are pretty good versus Protoss. Looks like a Phoenix or 2 might have gone down there. Another Widow Mine hanging around, maybe going to try and get a connection. There's a missile turret there. The siege tank's actually exposed, which is a little concerning for SuperNova. He may be able to repair it, but he's not going to react in time. Lift, where the Phoenix are forced back by these Cyclones, though. Cyan wants that siege tank. Looks like he will get it. Loses the Phoenix for the siege tank. So pretty good trade there. And the mine actually goes down too. So Cyan getting good trades with these Phoenix. He's investing in a lot of charge lots still. I'd like to see a 4th base on the way for Cyan. As, I mean, even if you go for the timing, you can probably squeeze it in somewhere. So I'd like to see the 4th base on the way for Cyan really get ahead in that economy, as he's now making an Immortal, and it doesn't look like he's going to be going for a big timing or anything like that. Getting the siege tank was nice as well. Lowering that count is very important. Widowmine connects with a Phoenix there. Cyan trying to get the Liberator, but doesn't quite get it. Throws away a Phoenix or 2, so he's really not at a very effective number of Phoenix anymore. Now, the 4th base is on the way for Cyan. He's teching up. He's got a huge Zealot count. He's getting out his upgrades as well. Getting up a 2nd Forge SuperNova. He's actually, interestingly enough, going into ship weapons. So this could be a bit of a tell that SuperNova wants to sort of go mass Liberator or even eventually into battle cruisers. We'll just have to wait and see this game. Cyan's coming in for an attack, though. SuperNova, is he prepared for this? I mean, he's got a good tank count. He's got a pretty decent buffer. Lots of mines out as well. The Liberator there is pretty huge. This Widow Mine will get picked off. Phoenix goes down for it, though. And now we'll see. Is Cyan going to try and break this? I mean, these guys are pretty equal on supply now. Equal on army supply, equal on workers. SuperNova getting up his own 4th base, so Cyan doesn't look like he's going to commit for this, as he really does just have a lot of Zealots, and Zealots are good, but charging head-on into Mech can always be troublesome. SuperNova going for a wall. This is a nice little touch I like to see. I mean, the Zealots not getting on top of your army as quickly because of something like a wall is a big deal. Cyan back at home going into double Robo facility, so he's going to have a lot of Immortal production after this. SuperNova getting set up. Looks like he may lose a structure or 2, just a missile turret or something like that. Now, Cyan wanted to go for some counter-harassment, but SuperNova is aware of the trouble that Warp Prisms can be. He has a lot of turrets set up, as SuperNova hasn't been going for Vikings, which is something Mech players do commit to. And the fact that he's just been making non-stop Liberators, I think is why Cyan's a little hesitant to attack into this. I mean, you need a lot of Stalkers, or you need Tempest, something like that. he is making 3 disruptors at a time, which is, I mean, disruptors are very good versus mech. You can't really split versus it as a meching Terran, so you can sort of have a stalemate, but we'll see what Cyan's able to get done. I mean, the disruptors really can punish siege tanks. SuperNova is getting up a fusion core, though. Advanced ballistics for liberators will really help him out. Moving out with Hellions, a run by is going to be very important if he can get it off. Cyan has a cannon or 2 at each base, it looks like, but not too much. These Hellions will unfortunately run into the army up Cyan. 2-2 on the way for both players. Even getting that, okay, I've never pronounced the upgrade name for this. Gravitic drive? Gravitic drive makes those warp prisms go quicker, if I'm not mistaken. Then, battle cruisers now on the way for SuperNova, so he's finally committing to these. Siege tanks are set up, though. Disruptors coming in, eating up a few of those Hellbats. Cyclones tank is shot. They do survive, but as the Liberator count goes up, SuperNova, I mean, Cyan's not going to be able to push in. He can get trades and pick units off, but you can't push into Liberators without anti-air. I mean, it's pretty simple math, that one. Now, we'll have to see. Cyan really wants to poke and prod still from the looks of it. SuperNova is ready to intercept most of this, though. And now Cyan, he did invest into his own Stargates and whatnot. He's going for an attack at this 3rd base, but I mean, there's a tank, there's Liberators, or there's multiple tanks. He's going to be able to pick off this Liberator, but SuperNova going to reinforce this pretty quickly here. And ultimately holds now. Cyan coming in from the other angle, but he doesn't have the right army to break this. If SuperNova was just going for like tanks and Vikings, sort of the most common mech style, but he's not. SuperNova is aware of what he needs to hold, and that's why he's doing well this game. That's why Cyan hasn't been able to break him, and this is why SuperNova is able to tech into battlecruisers. Cyan is going into carriers, though. Now, carriers not the best versus battlecruisers. Battlecruisers, when they have Yamato cannon, all it takes is 2 BCs, 1 Yamato each in order to pick off. In order to be able to pick off a carrier, so they can be quite effective. Now Hellions are coming into this base. There's a lot of cannons set up, but SuperNova may be able to bypass this. No, or he's going around. I mean, he could get to it. He's not quite microing these, but now these probes are exposed. We'll see what he's able to get. Gonna be picking off a few workers right now. I mean, this game, not too many probes have been killed, but getting a bit of damage, denying some mining. I mean, when you're committing to carriers, every resource does matter, and also, to add on to that, every resource matters. Cyan's doing a good job denying gas mining at this 4th base of SuperNova. SuperNova's really teching up, though, getting into these battle cruisers. He's actually supply blocked for now, so he's going to want to remedy that. He's almost maxed out, actually, so he may eventually start trading off lesser units like these odd Cyclones he has, get rid of some more Hellions. Cyan, I think, is thinking the same, maybe. He's looking to poke and prod. Missile turrets picking off that Oracle there. Liberator's getting set up, though. SuperNova's quite dug in for now, and now that he's got advanced ballistics, he can really punish this. SuperNova's actually gone across the map with his 2 battle cruisers, though. One of them used their Yamato cannon there. The other may do that. No, he's actually just going to keep denying mining, and when SuperNova gets attacked, he can just blink out here, which is very nice for him. He's now going to be able to start picking off probes. Battle cruisers, they kill workers pretty quickly. I mean, they're slow to chase after them, but when they actually start working away on them, they do get a fair few kills. These battle cruisers will eventually have to teleport out. SuperNova does teleport them both out there. He does spot the carriers as well, so he's aware of what's coming his way, but he's getting to more and more battle cruisers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cyan start up some Tempest after this, as that's really what you want versus battle cruisers. Tempest are so good versus battle cruisers. Now, SuperNova is still locked in on these 4 bases. Zealot's coming in. Gonna trade with a siege tank, so that's nicely done. Eventually, SuperNova will want a 5th base, but he's going for more battlecruiser harassment. This isn't something you see every day. These battlecruisers, thrusters, full on. He's now moving towards the 4th base of Cyan. He's got some Hellions going for a run by as well. I mean, Cyan's economy is not the best. He's only on 56 workers. He's getting into a 5th base, but you do need workers to invest in this kind of army. And now here comes in SuperNova. He may be looking for a carrier or two. He's coming in. He'll find these forges. He can work on them. We'll see what he uses his Yamato cannon on. He's coming and seeing the Stargate production, maybe looking for something that he can find. Gonna settle for some probes from the looks of it. He's gonna focus down the fleet beacon next. Cyan's gonna have to react to this. Some battle cruisers do get caught out. They're gonna Yamato cannon, then blink away. So SuperNova using these small hit squads of battle cruisers, and he also picked off the fleet beacon, which is absolutely massive. Cyan can't make Tempest at this point. These battle cruisers are now engaging these carriers, but they only have +1 attack versus +2 armor, so these PCs will last quite a while. SuperNova micros blinks them all out. Could have stayed a little bit longer, and he didn't, or actually he did burn all his Yamato cannon, pardon me. How many carriers have died this game? So far 2 have been picked off, but SuperNova using these BCs, 2 mass effective. Alright, you guys know it's officially a late game. The DT blink has been started for Cyan right now, going for those style points. Now, SuperNova, he's building up this high battle cruiser count, but ultimately, in the full-on late game, I mean, you guys can argue with this all you like. Personally, I don't often say something like this personally. Late game, there's a reason why all Terrans don't go Mech. It's because Protoss generally does have a better composition to go into the ultimate late game. I mean, yes, Battlecruiser is very effective, SuperNova playing with them very well, but if Cyan does reach Tempest Tech, it could get very problematic for SuperNova. SuperNova now securing a 5th base though, which is a important step. And SuperNova, he isn't just hurtling up to I mean, he's a guy who's played a lot of mech, so he knows what to do. So he isn't just hurtling up, he's not just staying at, like, say, max battle cruisers, in which he has 20 battle cruisers, because all these Tempests that are coming out will ruin his day, but instead he's harassing Cyan. He's gonna come in with these BCs. We'll see what he's able to get done. Now, gonna be working away on some of these cannons right now. He's also sticking with his upgrades. But as these Tempests come out, it will become problematic. Here's all these BCs, though. They're moving in. Battle cruisers, they're very effective versus Tempest if they can get a Yamato cannon off, but if Cyan micros his Tempest well, SuperNova won't be able to get that Yamato cannon off. Our recall comes down, so we'll see what SuperNova is able to get done. I mean, these are a lot of battle cruisers versus not too... I mean, these are stalkers, but this is a lot of battle cruisers. SuperNova can blink out the injured ones. Does lose one. Looks like he's going to throw out all those Yamato cannons, then get out, but now this is where it's going to get scary for SuperNova. He just used his blink, so his battle cruisers are stuck at home. Cyan knows it, and I think Cyan's going to be able to push now, because looking at this is 4 Tempests, 4 carriers, some stalkers, High Templar. I mean, the battle cruisers won't really be able to get on top of this army. The one way that battle cruisers can really deal with Tempest is if they blink on top of them with their tactical warp jump. It's called something like that, guys. Let's see, what's it called? It's actually called tactical jump. Now, so if SuperNova does stay back long enough, it looks like Cyan is giving SuperNova the time of day. So that with this, I mean, SuperNova, if he does get tactical jump off cooldown on all its battle cruisers, which it soon will be, SuperNova will be able to blink on top of these Tempests. And if you blink on top, you've got, say, SuperNova, he's got 12 battle cruisers, 2 Yamato cannons on each Tempest. That's 6 dead Tempests. There's only 2 left. So they really can be effective. We'll just see. I mean, the rest of the army's a factor too, but not too much of a significant one. There's also Void Rays in there as well. I think there's only 3 though. So SuperNova, this is the question, is how is he going to be able to deal with this? The Tempest range is now harassing, and Oracle's coming out for Cyan, which is really going to help him with this. I mean, it's just going to allow these Tempests to abuse their positioning. A lot of disruption nodes coming in. Yamato cannons landing on 1 or 2 of the disruptors, but when it comes down to the big fight, good blink on that battle cruiser though. I keep calling it blink. It's a tactical jump, but good tactical jump from SuperNova, saving that battle cruiser. Battle cruisers cost as much as a command center. If you've ever heard that saying before, they actually cost more than a command center if you consider the gas. So you can't really just be losing battle cruisers left and right. SuperNova looks like he wants to take a fight. He's coming in. Cyan actually stayed a little bit too far forward, so he eats a few Yamato cannons there. SuperNova, of course, he can lose battle cruisers here as Tempest deals so much damage to them. Now, Cyan is pushing forward, and this is what I was talking about. SuperNova is being muscled back. You can't really engage onto the Tempest. SuperNova may eventually try something. He's going into mines, which are very good if he has drilling claws, which he does. If you get a bunch of Widow Mines to run underneath your opponent's army, it can work out, but Cyan has picked off SuperNova's 5th base. He's going to be very happy with this. SuperNova has a very large bank, though, and I mean, 6,000 minerals and a chunk of gas can go into a lot of Widow Mines, but we'll just have to wait and see. This final fight, which could happen at any minute, is what this game is going to come down to. Now, these Tempests, pardon that scroll bug there. Now, like SuperNova is going for a bit of a counterattack. We'll see if Cyan's going to recall to this base or not. I don't think you can recall on top of all these battle cruisers just because of the Yamato cannon. Cyan's coming back. He's going to lose this base, but he's got a lot more bases out already. He's on 6 bases, or technically 5 now, I guess, but SuperNova's going into the main base. We'll see what he's going to get. Did Cyan just recall, though? Yeah, he did. SuperNova can Yamato cannon, then dive out. This is going to work out very nice for him. So Yamato cannons down a lot of these units, then gets out. I mean, he didn't... It's hard to focus them down individually, but all these Tempest are now 1 Yamato cannon away from dying. So SuperNova, I mean, he weakened a lot of these, but he didn't get many kills. Bank-wise, SuperNova is ahead, though. I mean, his bank isn't going to grow as quick as Cyan's now, as both these guys are on relatively weak economy, but he is down on the bases, though. SuperNova wants to resecure this. He's making more battle cruisers, and he's gone into a high number of BCs. It's 9 Tempest, 3 carriers versus 15 battle cruisers. SuperNova needs to buy time until he eventually has a blink ready once again, and then he can sort of go in once again, maybe take a direct engagement on this army now that the Tempests are weaker from the first round of Yamato cannons. Now, BCs are harassing it in every direction. The base to the east is very important for Cyan, and he could be losing it right now. SuperNova, though, it's going to be very tough for Cyan just to push in a base race situation, which this is sort of turning into. I mean, SuperNova is really crippling the economy of Cyan. While this is going on, Cyan's going to lose some more workers. Likely going to lose this Nexus, and now here comes SuperNova, this Nexus that's rebuilding. Not going to last. Looks like SuperNova may be able to get this Nexus. He's got to be paying attention. Yes, and he is. He's going to be blinking out all his battle cruisers there. So 2 Nexus go down. Cyan doesn't have a big bank, but he is maxed out, so SuperNova will eventually have to deal with this army. If we look at the cost efficiency, though, SuperNova is in the lead if we look at the resources lost. So he's playing very well. I mean, if SuperNova was just sitting back, Cyan would be picking off a lot more units. He would be getting on top of absolutely, like, everything. He'd be taking the lead in resources lost. There's 2 Yamato cannons. Goodbye that Tempest there. I mean, Tempests are expensive too. Battle cruisers aren't the only expensive unit. Now, Cyan's pushing in, but he has a big ground army, but here's a big blink from SuperNova. Where are all the Tempests? 10 of them are out of position. I'm not sure where they went. Cyan split up his army, and it's going to cost him. The Tempests are not with this army. They actually recalled to deal with the battle cruisers, and now Cyan taking a big loss there. And SuperNova is at a very high unit count. Supply-wise, Cyan is down. I mean, he's still got the Tempest, but his economy isn't great. And now Cyan's going to have to take this fight very well, but if we look at the army now, Cyan's not making too much more. He's got to kite back with these Tempests, but he's not doing that. A lot of Yamato cannons are going to lock on, and Widow Mines are coming in too. The Tempests are all clumped up. Even 2 Widow Mines are going to get their shots off, dealing so much damage there. And I think that's got to be it. I mean, Cyan not microing his army at the end there, and that's going to be a costly mistake. GG gets called, and SuperNova takes the Mech TvP, pardon me, over the Chinese professional player. So that's a great game to see. And I mean, SuperNova got his victory there from sort of playing Mech the scrappy style. If we go back into this game, I mean, SuperNova the entire game was sort of going back and forth. He was going back and forth between his opponent's bases. He was harassing. In a straight-up fight, battle cruisers do lose out to late-game Protoss, but SuperNova was using them very effectively, and then when he did do enough damage to Cyan, he got the big fight. He waited for a weakness, and that's how he managed to do it. And that's the scrappy mech style. Like, we see it sometimes in TvZ too, in which Terran players, they'll play sort of with a less ideal unit composition head-to-head, but they'll go for all sorts of harassment and things, and will eventually win out in that fashion. I mean, at Starcraft 2, there's a lot of options, and this was another one of those great games. SuperNova took a bit of damage, but eventually won out. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a subscribe. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you don't mind. Otherwise, I shall see you guys next time, as there's certainly going to be more Starcraft 2 coming.